right? So that's what they're zoomed into. Plate separation is 3.10 millimeters, okay? Oil drop radius we have to figure out for ourselves. I don't zoom in or zoom out, okay? I do quit sometimes. I'm going to use the timer. I'm going to zap the drop. So what Millikan did, once he determined the size of the drop, he actually had a little bit of like, I don't know, radium or some kind of a radioactive material. And all he'd do is he'd open a little shutter and blast the drop with radiation. And that was ionizing radiation, right? It's like gamma rays or something like that. And the gamma rays would either add electrons to the drop or randomly take electrons off the drop. Yeah? Basically, it would just jumble the charge. Here, when we hit zap the drop, it just does a random number and gives the drop a random number of electron charges other than what it has, right? Okay. But, you know, to be sure, Millikan had figured this out, right? So getting a new drop is very difficult. You have to hit the button N. Right, there it is. And there's our drop, and it's falling. And what I want to do is I want to suspend it. Notice that the top plate's positive, the bottom is negative. Let's try 100 volts. I got 100 by just typing the 1. So if you look at this, it says it here, numbers set the voltage 0 to 1,000 volts. F10 will go by thousands. I'm not going to do that because that's too much. Notice right here, the direction thing. It says that it's still falling. Do you see that? Right, so even though you can hardly see that, that's, by the way, a great help to see that it is going down, because you have to watch for a long time to kind of see that it is going down, right? So let's try 200. Oh, 200's going up. It's too much voltage, right? So now look at this. When I hit the space bar, see the fine coarse? I want to be coarse with you guys. Okay, I'm going to go to 100 because 100 seemed a lot closer. And now I'm going to go up. I'm hitting the up arrow, 110, 120. 110 is too much. 100, now I'm going to be fine. And that's not fine as in she's so fine. That's fine as in it goes up by 1 volt, right? So there we go. 109 is one of my voltages that I could use. So my data table is actually going to look like this, okay? And I'm going to call this drop. I'm going to call it drop number 1, right? You could choose names. Some people name their drops like Mario and Luigi and stuff like that, right? But I'm going to call it drop number 1, right? And what I need to do is I need to drop it, okay? Or I'm going to say, what am I going to call it? R. I'm going to go R colon like this. So we have to determine the size. But for now, my voltages, I can use 109. That's one of the voltages. We still don't know the size of this drop. Now, little trick here, okay? M, mark the voltage. So I'm going to type an M. Okay, now it's got that voltage. And now if I want to go to the top, because I want to bring it to the top so I can drop it, okay, I can type some zippy number like 6. And if I hit the R key, it'll return, I hope, to that number, 109. Isn't that cool? Right, so I hit 6, which brought it up to 600 volts. That brought it way up, right? Okay, and now I'm going to drop it. Are you ready for this? This is kind of scary, because we could lose it here, right? And then I'm going to hit the timer button. I'm going to hit the T, and I'm shooting for one of those grid lines, poop which. There we go, okay? And notice the timer's going. Until before I tweaked the program, it was going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, boom, it was done, you know, okay? So R, I'm ready to hit the R key, which returns it to the voltage. And notice that it fell, how many divisions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full divisions, 6.0 divisions, right? Right? And notice I'm writing down what this is. Always write that down in case you zoom in or zoom out, you know, write down how far it falls. You could be more accurate. You could zoom in and do that, but 77.5 just works, right? Okay, now I'm going to go up to 600 and bring it back up to the top. R, and I'm going to drop it. D is drop. Hit the timer, this time on a different one. There we go. Try to hit a different grid line, because if you hit the same grid line, it's going to fall the same distance. But sometimes if you hit a different grid line, it falls a different amount just because it's crappy graphics and it's interpolating. That one's the same, right? Okay, so 6.0. You had a question. Right? Are we good? Let's do one more just in case, right? So 6. Let's go 6. Bring it back up, and I'm ready to hit the R key. This is sort of nerve-wracking. Huh. Okay, I'm going to drop it. I'm going to let it fall a little farther. I don't think, did I use that grid line right there? This one? I'm going to use this one. There we go. Look at me. All right.
So it marks itself?
Yeah, it just marks it. There we go. Yeah, it looks like R. It looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.0. That's easy, right? It seems like we know this drop now, doesn't it? We've done all this stuff. We moved it up, dropped it, moved it up, dropped it, moved it up, dropped it, right? Now we know the size. Now we can plug into this formula, right? We know the viscosity of air. We know the density of the oil. We know G. And we can figure out the velocity in a spreadsheet. And then we can figure out R. Then we can put the R in here, and we can figure out Q, right? So now what we want is we want to get with this drop without losing it, without losing the drop. We want to get more suspension voltages, as many as we can, as many as we can. Now, sadly, this random number generator seems to have this weird thing where it'll only give you, sometimes it'll give you like 3 different voltages over and over and over again, suspension voltages. Sometimes you can just go on. And I don't know what the difference is. I can't tell you why. But are you guys ready to zap and suspend? Okay, so let's see. I'm going to go 6. I'm going to bring it up to the middle. Okay, and I'm ready. I'm ready to zap. I'm going to hit the Z key, and it's going to be some random. And now it's going up, so that means we need less voltage, right? So I'm going to go to coarse, fine, right? Coarse. I'm going to go down, down, fine, up. Whoops. 90 is one of my voltages, yeah? All right, let's do another one. Are you ready for this? Zap. I hit the Z key. It is zapped, and it didn't change it at all. Hit the zap key again. Didn't change it at all. Zap key. It's now falling. Oh my God. Okay. Coarse.
It's still suspended. 0.
Let's zap it again. Up. Now it's going up. All right. Oh, that's one we haven't had. There we go, 136. All right, next one, zap. This is from 90, oh dear, that's a lot of voltage, okay. How do I get to 0? Does 0 make it 0? Oh, 0 does, oh wow, look at that. Okay. Oh, look at that, 90, well darn it. That's not a new drop, right? That's like the same one, right? This might be one of the ones where we, okay, ready for zap? Zapping again, it's going up. Oh wait, this one's less than 90. It might be one we don't have. Smart ass. All right. Come on, baby. There it is, 68. Right? It's still moving up, but it says it's not moving. Okay, so I'm just going to take its word. Okay, let's zap it again. I'm zapping it again. Oh my God. It's falling. Let's try 100 volts. 100 is too much. Let's be coarse. That's our 90 again. Darn it. Let's zap it again. Really likes 90. Now it's going down. Let's try 100. Still falling. 200 is going up. Let's be coarse. That's one we haven't had. There we go. 181. Etc. And you could maybe do every man, woman, and child in this room. Every man, woman, and child in this room needs to get their own 25 charges. Their own 25. And what you're going to do is you're going to get together with 3 other people and get their data. We're going to agglomerate the data. But every man, woman, and child needs their own 25 of these, right? Just you can't use repeat voltages, right? If it doesn't give you new voltage, let's say it just sticks here and you keep doing it and you keep getting the same 5. One thing you can try is just like holding the Z key down and let it repeat. It'll go, and sometimes that'll like shake it loose, right? Otherwise, you might have to do it, you might have to get another drop. It's okay. Some people get 25 unique charges and they use like 9 drops, God bless them, okay? Because they lose the drops, right? Sometimes it'll switch polarity on you. So as you increase the voltage, it goes down and down faster and faster. If that's the case, notice that there's a S, which is switch polarity, right? But the general saving throw, if it's like flying off the screen, is just hit the Z key a bunch of times and get a charge that doesn't make it go so fast, right? Just kind of brrr, like that. But yeah, probably the thing to do when you learn to do this is I would get a new drop and I would just play zap suspend for a while until you're somewhat good at that and you know what the controls are. Then once you're able to do that, then go ahead and do the lab, you know what I'm saying? Because it's really a pain to sit there and do this and then lose it because you only have one chance to practice, right? And then do this again and then lose it, right? You know, right?